Joe, did you forget to pay the light bill?
I didn't forget to pay the light bill, but the electrical system may be failing in this compartment, so we're going to have to go to emergency lighting, which are the emergency battle lanterns.
Well, Joe, I got news for you. USS Cod Submarine Memorial, we are authentically restored, but not all of our battle lanterns work. I think we better go with our modern day mag lights. Hey, there you are. Why don't you light me? Hello, I'm Paul Ferrace. This is our Cracker Jack. Light me? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. Yeah. This is Joe Barthelemy, one of our tour guides, and we're here to talk about emergency lighting, battle lanterns, and flashlights. What happens when things go dark? Wow, it's certainly nice to have the ship's lighting system back, and I'm sure it will no longer terrorize the fly that's down here with us. Is that a pet of yours, Joe?
No, that's not mine.
I think it was...
I leave my flies at home.
I think it was attracted by Evan. Anyway, as you certainly saw, a heart-wrenching dramatization of just how dark it can get in a submarine when the lights go out. Providing illumination in emergencies was an important part of submarine operation and certainly design. The boat's electrical system is very complex, and if the lighting bus is tripped out, there are emergency lights that will come on. They are hardwired directly to the battery. That ain't one of them yet, but we'll do an insert here on B-roll of one of the green metal fixture glass globe emergency lights. There's one right up there, Joe. Those will come on. Now, they're not necessarily the brightest things, but they will provide some basic illumination. But we need to work the problem, so we're going to need some really dependable, heavy-duty, and, because we're in a submarine, waterproof, probably, illumination. Joe, what's our main go-to for lighting?
That's what we're looking at right here. This is not a replica. This is a vintage World War II Navy battle lantern for what Paul just talked about. In an emergency, these are placed all through the entire boat. There's at least 2 in each compartment. You don't want to have to be running to the other end of the boat to retrieve one of these lights. You want them to be very quickly and easily accessible. And that's what we have here. As Paul said, it's waterproof. It's for emergency lighting, for hopefully to repair something that is damaged and has disabled the lighting in the submarine.
Now, here in the crew's mess, there's one up there. I don't know if Evan could do B-roll. We've got one right above our heads there. And yes, Joe, you're right. This is not a replica. It sure looks beautiful, and there's a reason for that. Several of our battle lanterns work. They've been restored, so we kind of cleaned them up, painted them, and replaced the guts on the inside with some period-appropriate batteries and new switches. So these work, and I think right about now would be a good time for Evan to insert that incredibly dramatic photo we took of one of our battle lanterns in operation for a undisclosed theatrical production that we did a few years ago. It's a very dramatic picture, and it's certainly great to insert that right here. But Joe, yeah, so these are mounted in every compartment. How are they mounted?
There's a key right here. There's a slotted bracket where you would, if it was mounted this way, you would twist it about 90 degrees, and then you could remove it from the bracket. Once it's in that bracket, it's very secure until it's needed.
Okay. Now, I've seen some on boats where they put them in strategic locations. Let's say there are various boats throughout the 50s. They were mounted such that if you needed to see a lighted control panel lighted, you could flip one of these on and it would throw light on an important control panel. What about the color? This one's gray. I've seen these in different colors.
They would kind of color code them throughout the boat so you would know where that battle lantern came from, so you don't use it in other parts of the boat. And then there's one missing You want to return it to the same bracket it came from when you don't need it anymore, instead of having to go look around trying to find where it is or where it was left previously.
Now, I've seen these in green, red, and even some black ones. I got a funny story to tell you, Joe. When we took possession of the cod back in 1976, of course, these were mounted throughout the boat. And within a few years, we noticed something dire. These pressed metal bodies began to corrode from the inside out. And that was because the Navy left the batteries inside, the big I think they're 6-volt dry cell, large cylindrical batteries, perhaps a little smaller than this sugar dispenser, cardboard wrapped, 2 of those. And of course, you know, batteries in the old days did 2 things. Primarily, they leaked and destroyed whatever you had put them in. And number 2, they provided a little bit of light. So we had to run through the boat, collect all of them, open them up, shake out or remove the leaking, corrosive cells, and then we try to clean them up a little bit and put them back up, and because they were for show. And then documentaries and Hollywood came along, and thanks to Dave Cracy and Barrett Sharpnack, 2 of our crewmen, they worked overtime one night to get one working for a Hollywood production. So that's the insert we showed you. Now, these get replaced. In the late 50s, we're building modern submarines, the nuke subs, and this tried and true design gets replaced. By the way, I do want to point out the bottom. This is a standard battle lantern. It's got a smooth bottom plate, but some of them have a socket. What's that for, Joe?
That could be where it could be plugged into a receptacle for, if it was designed for it to actually recharge the batteries. So they had that technology back then for some of these battle lanterns.
And
Not all of them,
I guess,
but some
yeah.
of them.
Also, I think perhaps to hardwire, again, like when you have them illuminating a critical control space. I've also seen when we were aboard our friends at Slater, and I believe Kidd, the officers' wardrooms were the operating theaters in combat situations in an emergency. So around the overhead, above the tables, they have a bank of these things mounted in such a way that they, when turned on, they will throw light down on what would be the operating table. So these heavy-duty but corrodable metal battle lanterns get replaced by yellow phenolic, that's plastic, cube-shaped lights with a very pronounced big lens. And that's what we still use today. Interestingly enough, the Navy, in a move to be thrifty, as certainly light bulb technology has improved, there are kits where they have gone through ships, taken out the incandescent bulbs, and put in an LED pack, so that when you turn those on, you get that beautiful LED lights, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So COD's focus date is right up to 1953. So this is all we would have had, and these are just located. Maybe Evan will do some B-roll showing some of the different mounts around the boat where these things are located. And we've had to remove some for public access because as people step in to our escape trunk, the forward torpedo escape trunk to come down to enter the boat, there are 2 mounts for these things. Again, showing you how to, so you could read the depth gauges. If you're trying to escape the boat, you know, something bad has happened, and you need to see the sea pressure and the inboard pressure or depth. So there's 2 of these up there that are shining right across. They're above the door, and if you come in, you're going to whack your head. So they've been removed there. By the way, these were critical in our 6th Patrol during the search for our 2 men washed overboard. Mr. Larry Foley and Andrew Johnson washed overboard attempting to open the after torpedo hatch on the north end of the Formosa Straits. So it was a dark night. It was really rough weather. The captain, once we got the torpedo fire squared away, the captain said, everybody not on duty, grab some lanterns, get topside. So in addition to our own signal searchlight, crewmen were up on deck with these things, sweeping the water. And I gotta tell you, yeah, that bulb isn't exactly that very bright.
It's the best they had at the time, though.
Best they had at the time. Now, this, as we said, was the primary portable hand battle lantern, but that's not all we have here. The Navy made, by the perhaps millions, of the standard brass tubular flashlights. We have a collection here that including brand new old stock. So this is again thanks to eBay. This was new stock, never opened, which is why probably the box is just as valuable as the pristine flashlight within. But this was your typical personal emergency lighting. So this says flashlight, electric hand, tubular for 2-cell battery, 2.5 volt, 0.3 amps, clear bulb, minimum screw base, Navy type TB8. The Bridgeport Metal Goods Manufacturing Company, Bridgeport, Connecticut. We'll do a little insert on this. So I'm sure everybody not making tanks and bombs were making these little brass flashlights painted black. We'll do a close-up on this. Joe, you were a scout, weren't you?
Scout? No, I was not.
Were you a Boy Scout, Cub Scout?
My big brother was an Eagle Scout.
Eagle Scout. I was a Webelow. And they didn't allow us to touch flashlights. Well, I thought you were. But anyway, there's a 3-position switch here. And this is like all flashlights. One is full on. The intermediate allows you to use it as a signal. You can push the little tab button here and send signals to somebody. And then off. And it's got USN.
Also, I'm noticing, even though this is vintage, this one has a flat lens. Well, it's missing right now. But this one, it may be hard to see on the video.
I thought it was just very clean.
Maybe hard to see. This has got a convex lens on it, so I'm guessing that's to magnify just the old-fashioned.
Oh yeah, well that's that's a Mr. Magoo lens. You're right. Now and I don't know what happened because I remember when I got this on eBay, it did have a lens. Somebody dropped it. I'm gonna blame Evan. He dropped it. I think.
I saw him do it.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, anyway, we can have some glass cut, and we'll put that back up. But again, everything is stamped USN and made in America. Again, that 3-position light. I would imagine this is probably for people that need to light a little bigger area, and it's going to have more batteries.
It's cross-side there.
Yeah. He does everything. This is a longer cell again with the Mr. Magoo convex, not concave. Boy, that really is a big, thick little lens of. Yeah, and this has got a slightly different switch. Again, U.S. Navy right there. We have those throughout the boat, but generally locked up. And of course, the flashlights go in orange boxes throughout the boat. And again, something else for Evan to insert, some B-roll. Now, this one's a little different, Joe. This one, again, USN.
Before you move on, can I add something real quick?
Sure.
That I'm noticing with this one that we just talked about, this is got it. So this isn't going to go rolling around like that. It's going to almost like a pencil. It's got flat sides. So the other ones do not. Oh, they do. They do. So this is designed.
This one does. This one doesn't. This will roll. So yes,
so
in a seaway,
you want it to stay where you put it.
I'm getting a little seasick. Right. So obviously, by the way, I don't think anybody has yet developed, after at least 100 years, maybe 120 years of flashlight technology, nobody has made the ideal flashlight. You know, today you can go to a hardware store anywhere, you'll see no end of articulating heads, LEDs. You know, there's some that look like a snake, you can bend them, and you still, either you don't have it when you need it in a certain application, or it won't fit. Now, yeah, we
Always carry a flashlight with you, no matter what. You never know when the lights are going to go out.
always have a towel and a flashlight, yes. No, I'm not a South Park fanatic. Joe, I was about to introduce this thing. Why does it sound like we're in some kind of an infomercial? These are not for sale. But right here we have, and this may be sort of like post-war, but this is Bakelite, and it's a little heavy duty. Obviously, has a clip here for hanging on a belt. It's got a little more robust switch, and it has a flat glass thing, but it's got a little wire holding the bulb. Why do you think this is made out of plastic?
It's got batteries inside, which are corrosive. Maybe it's made out of plastic. Bakelite, plastic was not really the technology back then, but Bakelite was right before plastic was developed.
That, I think, are all good reasons, and I think another reason, because someone explained to me, if you're working around explosive environments, you want something that's not going to spark. So particularly if you have to go down into the battery well where there might be hydrogen gas, or certainly you don't want your flashlight to short between two cells, you know, down there, the big batteries, you will have something unpleasant happening. So a non-conductive body, I think, like that is going to be preferable. But let's look at our modern ones. You know, it's funny. Here's 80 years of technology. This is a mag light, and it's a LED mag light. So I can tell you that's much brighter than these would ever be. And LEDs, of course, their batteries are going to last a whole lot longer.
And mine is even brighter.
All right, now you just ruined a $1,500 camera. Evan, did he throw off your exposure?
No, that's fine.
Did the bad man throw off your exposure? All right, and these use smaller batteries. I think C cells or something. It's funny, battery sizes really haven't changed all that much. Although whatever happened to A and B cells? Because C and D's and
that's a good question. I've never heard of
C,
A and B
E's, triple A's. Oh, A cells, but there's double A's and there's triple A's.
Yep.
So that's how you would provide lighting in an emergency. And of course, being that we're kind of into the collecting and that we want to definitely save that little corner tab. This is going to go back into our locked cabinet for flashlights in the engineer's office. I'm looking at this, and it has a little snap-in loop here, so you could probably hang that off of your dungarees, you know, either a keychain or a belt loop. So we're going to put that back in its box, and we'll put that back into storage, new old stock. This one has something happen there. In fact, I don't know if that's corroded or damaged. Yeah.
Broken.
We have these on display in inaccessible areas throughout the boat. And we have some modern analogs that we spray painted black, that we put those out so that people don't steal historic treasures. So that's how we keep from bumping our heads in the dark. There we go. Now, I'm going to make this available now for a limited time only for $49.95. And if you order now, we're going to throw in a napkin holder. How's that? Okay. Thanks for joining us on this exciting and fascinating exploration of emergency lightings. Remember to hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, and we'll be back with more content soon. Thank you.